Yo, what is up, my Shadow Army? It is I, Shadow Critias, back again with another Hazbin Hotel Hell of a Boss discussion video. And I bring you guys another commentary video where we're gonna go over something that Vivzie, known as Vivienne, can confirm and talk about behind the scene for the season 2, and a few things that she's gonna be talking about, and what can we expect for season 3. So basically, this came out like the day after. The day after the last 2 episodes of Hazbin Hotel was released. So basically, this one came out after, or a few hours later, after the final 2 episodes is out. And we're basically gonna go over certain things, the big season 2 risk towards the season 3. What can we expect? So yeah, if you guys want to watch the whole actual video, I will have the link of it down below in the description box. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's just go and dive into it.
Alright, season 2 questions. I'll start with a couple of big broader ones so you could touch on whatever you want. First big question I have is, can you tell me what the biggest difference is between how you pictured the season 2 storyline when you first started working on it and what it became in the finished season that everyone has now watched and loved?
That's a fun one. So once we lock in, the seasons don't change. But what is fun about season 2? So when we wrote season 1, we had no idea what the future was. When we got greenlit for season 2, that was also the only one that we knew was guaranteed. But season 1 had not come out yet. So that was awesome. It was very exciting to be so we wrote season 1 in this vacuum, and we made it in this vacuum of we have no idea what the future holds for this show. And then Amazon came in and swooped up and greenlit a second season without even the airing of the first, which I'm still so thankful for. I'm thankful to both A24 and Amazon for having enough faith in the show to give it those platforms. So with season 2, I think season 1 had come out when it was announced that we were greenlit for the rest, but a lot of it was honestly because they were seeing how season 2 was shaping up, and they were like, oh, we're gonna do more, which really excited me, honored me. As I've been pretty open about, I envision the show as a 5-season show, so we're almost there. And I'm, obviously fingers crossed, I have no idea, but I'm feeling good about hopefully getting to tell this whole story just with how well it's doing, and I'm very proud of it. But so with season 2, we were in this position where
okay, so basically she wants to make 5 seasons out of this. So basically, even though we got the green light for season 3 and 4, and hopefully for season 5, so basically, the episodes has to be a bit longer, or you need to increase having more episodes than just having 8 episodes. So, again, if you want to tell a story, then the episodes needs to be longer, or you need to have more than just 8 episodes to tell the story. So, yeah.
not right away did we know we'd have all this. And so I kind of took the risk of going, there's a part of the story and there's a part of the lore and the twists and everything that I'm dying to tell. And I went, do I jump into that story? Or do we take the time to do some of the stuff that we wanted to do season 1 but couldn't? And I chose that. I was like, I'm gonna take the risk and hope there's more. And hope I get to that part of the story, which the good news is we do now. But I took that risk on season 2, where I was like, no, I think we need to build that story up more. If we jump right into it, I describe it as the point of the story where the roller coaster's going up the thing, and at a certain point the roller coaster starts going down, you can't stop it. And so to me, that storyline is kind of that point. And so I was like, I don't know if it's worth jumping into that on season 2 when we have no idea what the rest of the show looks like. And so I was like, you know what, season 2 deserves to be a proper follow-up to season 1. It needs to deal with all those things. Like, what is the fallout? What is the reaction? How, you know, and then also just the V's I always envisioned as being big villains, but in my map at the time, there wasn't a season that solely, there was like a season where they shared with another villain every season. And I went, no, I think it's worth it to have a season where they're like kind of the main. Obviously we've got Loot too, but Loot also is I call her a sleeper villain. We set her up big and we know her goal, but she keeps being restricted and she keeps being put into a box.
And here's the thing. A lot of people are now talking about Lou, saying that she's a waste potential and a waste of character for a villain. But clearly they do have plans for her. It's just they just want to give her like a motivation. They want us to see, yeah, she's gonna go rogue in the next season. Hell, we thought it was gonna happen this season. But Vivzie wants the V's to be the main villain, the main focus of the main villain. Or the main focus as the main villain. But clearly, people have not looked into watch this. So, for those people who are saying and making videos about, you know, Loot was a waste of potential, watch this video. Because they do have plans for her for season 3. They do have plans for her. And of course, those people are going to be like, where was this in season 2? They only have 8 episodes. Do you think they couldn't make more episodes because Amazon tell them, yeah, make 8 episodes. So they wanted to make more episodes, but Amazon tells them to make only 8 episodes.
I think that's the point. Like, she is a character that needs to simmer because she is like a ticking time bomb, right? So she's the villain that we established. She's a villain. She's got problems. Here's what her problems are. Here's how the world is not helping with those problems, and we're gonna see what that results in. But the V's are the main ones, and so I was very thankful to make that choice because not only do I love the V's, and I think they deserve.
See, like. That's the thing. I think this is my theory. I think Loot is going to become the next fallen angel. And I know a lot of people want Emily to be the next fallen angel because people really want to see Emily fall, but since we know Emily is the sister to Sarah and Sarah don't want to see her sister fall, and since now Sarah believed in Emily and Charlie that sinners can be redeemed, so now the heavens believe in Charlie that sinners can be redeemed, so Loot is going to be the only one who's going to fall because she does not like the change. She does not like where this is going. And she doesn't like the heavens are allowed to have other sinners to be redeemed to get to heaven. So she doesn't like that. So basically Loot is gonna live in the past and be an outcast, being an outsider to her people because they are accepting that sinners can be redeemed. Where Loot is so bloodthirsty for getting her revenge and killing the sinners. That's all she cares about. So with Adam as her shadow on her shoulder, it's gonna make her go down a dark path. I think that's what they're going to do to make Loot to be the next fallen angel, because she's going to fall. So that's basically the theory I had in mind. So again, for those people who are saying that she's a waste of potential, they can do nothing about it. They just have to save it for the next season because, like she said, if she wants to focus on the V's as a villains, that's what she's going to do. If y'all got a problem with it, then don't bother continuing watching. If y'all have issues with certain things, it's not that fucking hard.
They deserve their own season being the villain, but Vox especially has become one of my favorite characters I've ever created. I am so proud of his character. Not only do I think he's like a fun character, but like the depth and like the range of everything that we got to explore with him in season 2, and like knowing where it goes past that, I really love his character.
That backstory is something else too. Actually, I'll just jump to my backstory question.
Yeah, I like I said in my video, like who is the better main villain for shit. Now I lost train of thought. Thank you, notification. Oh, about like who is the better main villain for each season? Adam for season 2 or Vox? It is no contest. It's basically Vox. It's just how Vivzie, really enjoying playing and writing the character for Vox. Like, the lyrics said, like, I am the nightmare of your consequence, and yeah, he's not wrong, and he's a prime example of that. And another thing, I think Loot will be taking time bomb on Sarah about like we being threatened by a sinner, and he's right about one thing. We made a consequence of not exterminate them right now, and because of it, they're uprising, and you have that TV guy freaking use a holy weapon to destroy the fucking barrier and broke the gate of heavens. So that shows right there that Vox was the first ever sinner, was able to break the barrier and destroy the gates of heaven. So yeah.
Because one thing that I was wondering, do you think Vox is the type of character who would have gone down a better path had it not been for what Alistair did to him?
That's a good question. It's funny seeing all the reactions to, like, everyone's calling him Baby Vox, and I get it, because he is a very vulnerable little guy in that moment, which, by the way, was partially Christian. This was actually before we majorly knew. I didn't know him very well, and I was a little nervous to direct him too far, and he did that. Like, he has a tone for Vox all season, he's playing him very, and then in that scene, we didn't need to tell him to do anything different. He just did it differently, and when I heard it, I went, oh yeah, he plays him like really, really innocent here. Like, you can hear it in his voice. He's so much more like timid and like shy. But that was the point, because Vox is a character, as we see in the season. He was an egomaniac. He was a violent man. He did these horrible things when he was alive, and he was a cult leader. So he's a master manipulator. He's very charismatic. But in that moment with Alistair, he was being vulnerable in a way that, especially from the time period he's from, was not easy.
Okay, sorry about that.
And I think that's the element of it that I don't think people realize, is like, that was real. That his moment there with Alistair was like him letting down a guard that even existed when he was alive, and Alistair shit all over it. And so that's why he's extra insecure as a demon guy. as a TV guy, because he just, like, that was his moment. That was, so I say yes and no.
Again, Vox has a major hate boner for Alistair. Like, he hate Alistair so much, and after the final episode, he is so obsessed with Alistair. Like, the biggest hate boner against Alistair. All because he shut you down of your offer. All because you got made fun of the someone that you look up to.
No, because I think if Alistair had accepted that and we'd gone down that path, I think Vox would probably be a happier person, which maybe would mean he's less horrible, but I don't really know, because he was horrible in life, and he's still kind of horrible, and so is Alistair, so I feel like they would be a very jovial villain team, but I don't think he would have been totally different, and I also don't know how well that relationship ultimately would have worked with two egomaniacs at the helm, no matter how much he liked him.
There would have been a problem eventually.
Exactly. I feel like they're so similar and so different that it's like, that could either be the best thing or the worst thing, right?
The flashback also left me wanting, like, a Vox growth chart.
Yes, yeah.
I just want to see, like, the range of TV heads he has had.
Oh my god,
the
yeah.
years.
We put, I don't know if it's seen in full, but in one of the backgrounds we do have one. We have, I think, maybe, like, whenever we're in his office, look into the background more. I know it's there. I just don't know if there's ever a shot where we see it like 100%. But yeah, he has a display of like all his heads over the years.
The amount of time I'm gonna spend like scrolling through the episodes and trying to find it. I'm gonna jump to one of my episode 8 questions also, because this does pertain to Vox. I forget which conversation we were having. I think it might have been the New York Comic-Con panel, where you were kind of explaining how you were defining the seasons and explaining how it was kind of like a self-growth period for both Charlie and Vox. And given how things end for Vox in season 2, I was wondering, do you see that as the end of the exploration of his identity, or is that something that's going to continue in future seasons in new ways?
Oh yeah, well, partially because I really fell in love with the character. Just again, there's so much there. He's not a one-dimensional character. He has so much. And he kind of started out, I mean, there's some characters that do start out that way, but I always knew that he had this insecurity with Alistair. I was very excited to show people how brutal it was, because there's so many theories about it. Everyone knew that moment happened, but nobody knew how brutal it was, and so I was just sitting on it. I was just like, yeah, no, he has a reason to hate Alistair, you guys. But it led to, obviously, I know where the show ends, or where I want it to end. And Vox stays an important character all the way through to the end. And I really like it because, so season 2, obviously, at the end is he gets humbled by the people who you would not have expected. And because by his own doing, though, because he let the manipulation of Alistair and his own hubris and his own ego and his own and wanting to prove himself, he let that distance himself from the people who helped build him to who he was, and that ultimately was his downfall. They were the ones that stopped him. And I think for me, we start, like, I was about to go into spoilers for season 3, but I'll just say, the safe thing I'll say is that Vox has been humbled, and so
really.
In season 3, we will have to see him deal with not being the person who's at the top of the food chain anymore. And that, I think, inherently creates a different arc for him. It's like, he has now been humbled as much as a villain can be humbled, and does he grow from that? What does he do from there is something I'm very excited for everyone to see. So yes, he has plenty more arc. He has lots. And same with Charlie. I mean, every character this season, obviously Charlie's biggest arc is learning that internal thing of, like, look, you have to listen to people around you. You can't let your own feelings and your own desire to not be seen as the bad guy, not be seen as all these things. So she learns by the end to put more faith in everyone. But as is teased at the very end of the season, next season is going to be very complicated for her for different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited for all of it. So yeah, both characters had a very similar arc this season about identity and their insecurity playing a huge role in why they're pushing everyone away for different reasons. With Charlie, it comes from a very personal, manic reason of like, she just found out the redemption is possible. Her whole entire life view was validated, but the narrative is not syncing up with what she believes, and therefore she's, making a mess for herself. Whereas Vox is the opposite. He's gaining every favor, but none of it's enough, and it's his insecurity is taking him more and more Icarus, So that's kind of where I thought this season was kind of perfect, because I was like, we get to have the hero and the villain parallel each other in a way that I don't know if they do in future seasons, so I'm excited.
That parallel works so well. I want to jump to the end so bad, but I also don't want to miss a couple of.
Which is interesting. A lot of people hated Charlie for this second season, mainly because they think she hasn't learned anything from the first season, and she did. She didn't think that the redemption is possible until Emily told her that Serpent has been redeemed, he's in heaven, and that what's the word? I'm trying to find the word. That her motivation and her beliefs are true, that sinners can be redeemed, and she wants to prove it, but no one don't want to believe it, because there are some sinners just don't want redemption. There are some who do, but there are some who don't want redemption. So yeah, and that's something that Charlie should need to learn about that. That there are some sinners can be redeemed and some that can't be redeemed. But Charlie, she thinks everyone can be redeemed. But there are some who don't seek it. Like Vox, there's no redemption for him. I'm sorry. Like, to me, Vox doesn't deserve redemption. Because if he was redeemed after everything he has done and declare war at heaven, they're just gonna put him in bar or in his life. And again, there are some sinners just don't deserve the redemption. They don't.
Absolutely.
Early season questions that I'd written down. I'll jump to episode 4 first. This is a tiny thing, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but obviously I'm always looking for the little details, and this little detail I caught in the news crawl, and then I started Googling, and then I got really curious. It's the whole Black Hatters thing. And then I started to go down, the Google rabbit hole, and I found, Black Hat from Villainous, and then I'm reading about how people were incorporating that character in Hazbin fan fiction.
That's just a Black Hat to almost get all of that.
I believe Zestial refers to Vox as the media overlord, and it was just making me wonder, do you have sub-names for all the overlords? Like, is Zestial the overlord of something and everybody else the same?
That's such a good one. So yeah, in the original version, which we've kind of cheated now just because we want more variety, but in one of my earliest versions of Hazbin, I wanted each of the overlords to represent a different kind of either media or art expression. So that's why when we do see them, even in this season, you will see some that are Zizi is the club, hip hop, kind of like that, grungy, kind of club overlord. And then we've got Maestro, who's seems like classical music overlord. Vox is like one of the top ones, so he's like overall media, like he controls TV is kind of the focus though. Valentino is film, so he does like adult film and porn and stuff, but in this universe that's kind of Hollywood, so he's kind of like the Hollywood guy. Velvet is specifically social media, so she, hers is very specific to that. Carmilla is dance, like she's based, if you look at her design, she's based around ballet. So, like they all have like this vague theme, but I think we kind of like, as the characters started playing different roles, we didn't like want to label each one, but yeah, if you look at them, they all have like kind of a thematic thing that you could relate back to some form of artistic expression.
So basically, Rosie will be the classic, the 80s type of gal. Alistair is, he's basically the radio kind of guy. So, he is the radio demon, so that's the title. So you have the media, social media, film, the classic music, the 80s girl, the dancer, radio, the party. So basically, Overlords has to be represents of who they are, what they are, and what they do best. Which is very interesting. I actually do like that. Like Overlords have their own unique title, what they go by, and they just stick with it. The first one that we know is Alistair, the radio demon. So basically, he's the radio overlord kind of guy. So, yeah. What else? Oh, and also I forgot to mention, Nifty and Husk, they're also an overlord. Because it's kind of confirmed that Nifty is an overlord because she has her magic abilities still. So I guess is an overlord. So I guess she's a maiden type of overlord. And Husk is more a gamble. Yeah, he's basically the gamble overlord because with his the cards of Ace, the dice, the rings, the gamble, and alcoholic. So, yeah, that does make sense.
I love those touches. Alright, I have another Zestial question, because I've always wanted to know more about that character, but in particular after his conversation with Carmilla in episode 6, where we very much see that he not only sees through Vox, but is also willing to draw a line when she won't, and I am just desperate to know why that character is the type of character who sees that and will stand up for what's right.
Yeah. Zestial is interesting because, all the characters are obviously bad, and we get allusions to what Zestial did in Season 3, which isn't a major spoiler, it's a very brief thing, but yay for all your Zestial fans, you'll get some stuff, but, I think for me, it's important to show that there are characters with very specific morals or who are able to see through the bullshit and understand that it's not worth their time, or this is just not a good idea. And I think Zestial, he sees through Vox, so he knows that Vox is only out for himself, and so he doesn't want to support that. But he also just knows internally, and we'll learn more about Carmilla as the show goes on, and like where her guilt and her pain lies. But a lot of it is also due to these angelic, she wields so much power that she kind of was the originator from, but it also led to so much more death. And so I think there's an element of him being like, don't going down that path that I kind of know that's complicated for you, so he's a very wise character, and I think that he's able to, not that he necessarily wants to do what's right or what's righteous, but he just knows that this is a bad call and it'll just make you feel worse or do worse or get hurt, so I think he's a very wise character, and he's been in hell for so long that I don't think he doesn't have any desire to do any more evil, because he's just like, I'm good. He's an old guy, he's just like, I've gained my power, I'm good, I've existed here for so long, like, I'm just, I feel like I've always loved, like, characters who exist in such a huge span of time. It's like reality kind of stops being reality for you. Like, you're just kind of existing, and you're like, I mean, I imagine, I've never lived that long, but I imagine, like, the existentialism of that is just kind of like nothing matters anymore. So I feel like Zestial is one of those characters that kind of lives above, like, these wants and desires that the other overlords have, because they're, young and scrappy and haven't gotten there yet.
It's incredible how little screen time he gets in both seasons, but, like, for whatever reason, that is a character that has me leaning in so much, and I
love characters like that kind of do. They have so much knowledge and wisdom, and they've existed for so long that you're like, that this guy has some stuff.
Every word he says, like, has the greatest weight ever. So I'm always just like very in touch with whatever he says.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna jump to Angel next because
So we're actually gonna get to see more of Zestial and his connection with Carmilla. I feel like there's a thing going on between both of them. It's just the way they are, and of course people ship them, which I could see that. It's just the way they interact to each other. Like, it's like they know each other for so long. Like, do they know each other when they were alive? Or they just know each other when they met and when they came to hell? That's one thing that crossed my mind.
Because I believe this happens at the end of episode 6, and I wanna word this question right. I wrote it and then rewrote it 500 times, but I'm very, very eager to hear about, I guess it is kind of a little bit of a retcon type of situation, but also my question kind of leans into how we perceived Angel throughout Season 1 and Season 2. Guys, I have to backtrack and just clarify one thing, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I want to make sure that we're spot on with this. So, it is revealed that the V's have been manipulating Angel.
Yes.
Has that been happening in all of Season 1 in addition to Season 2? It's not something that just started in Season 2, right?
No, if you watch the episode, it was really fast. Again,
they're serpentous.
Runtime is always a thing. But we had, like, a very short amount of time to show that. Kind of, when we reveal that he's been spying.
Yes.
So if you watch that, you can see stuff from Season 1.
Yes.
Like, you see them fortifying the hotel, you see them, you see these moments from Season 1 and most of Season 2. And it's fun, though, because I'm already seeing people do it, because I was like, I wish we had more. If there was one thing I wish we could have done, is I wish we could have set up Baxter to be the red herring a little more, because a lot of people have already pointed out, and a lot of people actually are already guessing, because again, when this is recorded, only the first 4 episodes are out, so people have not figured out the thing with Angel yet. And so when there are people that are like, I wonder if he's telling them things, and I'm like, good, think that, because then it'll hit harder when you find out. But like, that was like the one thing that I wish we could have set up more, is like, people really made people think, oh, that's how he knew. And then we reveal it's Angel. But I still think the reveal works, and it is very heartbreaking, because that is the thing that makes Angel go, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Yeah. That's one thing. The fact that Angel was a spy the whole time, and we didn't even know it, or the fact that Vivzie and the others didn't have any time to add anything in it, especially the scene where Angel, Serpents, and Husk are trying to barricade the hotel so they could be ready for the fight or whatever. And the fact that Angel was a spy the whole time, and the fact that Vox knew they were preparing, like, that makes almost sense now, because some people think, why would Vox be spying on these people, spying on them, Like, he couldn't care less about the hotel or anything like that. But he just wanted to see Alistair die, but he wanted to see the outcome. He wanted to see how this turned out. So, the only way they could do it is to get Angel Dust, which was the backup plan.
Or, you know...
That scene was upsetting. I mean, that kind of somewhat does answer the specific question that had crossed my mind, because in Season 1, or at least as we were seeing it at the time, Angel is probably one of the characters, more so than any other, that is the most active in terms of, you know, self-discovery, the itch to change, all of that good stuff. And then we get the storyline where you kind of take away his agency in Season 2,
The fact that Angel does have to leave the hotel because it was heartbreak, and he's not wrong, and you also understand where he's coming from, that like even he doesn't know if he's still being mind controlled by the V's. He doesn't know. But Valentina and Velvet, they don't have that ability. Vox is the only one. Like, Vox is like the only one has the ability to hypnotize people. So, since now he's just ahead, he can't do nothing about it. So, basically, Angel Dust is technically free from the hypnotation, but Angel Dust doesn't know if he's still being hypnotized or still be a slave or whatever. So it's gonna be weird without Angel in the hotel, and it's gonna feel bad. You feel bad for Husk, and now Husk has to look after Fat Nuggets. So, and I can tell Fat Nuggets is actually his heartbreak as well. That the pig's owner is now not coming back.
Season 2. So I guess, can you kind of walk us through coming to the conclusion that would best serve Angel's maybe overall series arc, and that it was necessary at this point in his journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing about how it's done is also that Angel has this freedom and this autonomy, but the point of the reveal is partially to remind him and the audience that he is in this horrible situation that even the good parts of the hotel can't free him from. And I think that was kind of why I felt like it was overall necessary, but I also just think in general, he did have all those authentic moments. So it's not like Vox was controlling him to do all the things he did, but the fact that he could have all these good moments and then unawarely have this moment where he dips out and doesn't remember, like that night, you know, is really scary. I think there's an element of that just, again, it shows like the kind of thing that can happen when you're in an abusive relationship, that you can have a really good, safe space, but the second you know, like there is still ways for that, like, abuser to find you and have control of you if you are not out of that situation. So that was kind of, it's definitely like an intense thing, because I think we decided that we were like, yeah, we feel like it's important to also see Vox as a perpetrator as well, because I think that's another thing too. A lot of people blame Valentino, and to be fair, Valentino is horrible and he is the main abuser of Angel, but Vox is absolutely complicit. Like, he might not be the one physically assaulting Angel in the same way, but he, like, is still assaulting Angel, and he's also still doing doing things without Angel's consent, and like it's just one of those things where, like, those two characters, like, they are cut from the same cloth of controlling people, and so it was partially because we needed to show that side of Vox, and it was important, but it was also to show that, you know, like, this is like something that Angel is still trapped in, even though everything feels good. And so obviously it's, without any kind of shock, season 3 is a lot about Angel and about his situation, and also about Husk, and the fact that Husk, you know, is a character that's really grown to care about Angel, And that's a really hard position, because we already know through Loser Baby that they have a lot of connection with each other, and they're both in a situation that's very similar, but unlike Angel, like, Husk at least has someone who, I mean, again, it's hard to compare abusers in this show, but at least Alistair has his own agenda, and it doesn't, like, Husk is just there to help him achieve it here and there, but with Valentino, it's like Angel is like this thing that he wants to lord over, and he wants control over, and he wants to control and use and hurt, and that's like the difference. And I think there's an element that I'm excited for people to see us explore, of like Husk being in this position where he's just realizing how much more different Angel's situation is from him, and I think that's also really, you know,
that is interesting. Let you guys know, I've seen this video before, and so basically, I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts. Like I said in the beginning of this video, the fact that the next season is going to be focusing on, well, there's going to be 2 story arcs of Season 3. One for Angel Dust and Husk, and another is the Morning Star family. So basically, that's what the next Season 3 is going to be about. You have the second arc, which is about Angel and Husk, and the first main one is the Morningstar family. And I think the 2 villains is going to be Valentino and Lute. So, or just Lute being the main villain. We honestly don't know.
You know, again, my personal favorite season is 3, so I really like it. But I think, yeah, it's probably the heaviest, most like emotionally driven season, which is saying a lot, because I think season.
Yeah. Oh boy. Looking forward for Season 3. Even though they just done recording, they literally confirmed it in the Galaxy Con, the convention, when they confirmed that they already finished recording Season 3. So now they had to do the editing, the animation. So that's the only thing they need to do. So yeah, that's the only thing they need to do is just that.
Season 2 out
His
a lot
emotion.
of that.
Well,
that
particular scene with Angel at the end of episode 6 was, and I mean this as a compliment, as in it is very, very effective. It was deeply upsetting.
Yeah.
So much like incredibly thoughtful stuff baked into your super entertaining show.
Thank you.
I appreciate that combination quite a bit. All right, where to go from there? I want to ask about this. I don't know if this is necessarily the best question for you. It might be a little more for Amir, but it's one line that's kind of burrowed its way into my brain, because I think it's a good line, but also I think his delivery is just so spot on. This happens in episode 7, and it's when Alistair tells Vox, "There's nothing you can do to break that girl's spirit." Can you tell me about maybe coming up with that line, but also hearing how it transforms when he delivers it, and I guess like really captures the purpose behind that line, because I felt it.
I love that. That's a good one. I mean, well, again, without getting too much into Season 3, as we see, Alistair also has a very different agenda in Season 3, and he may or may not.
There's a creative side hustle almost nobody is talking about, and it's not content creation. Being a YouTuber or a streamer,
no one cares.
Be great guy in Season 3, and what's exciting to me about that line is I think that line and lines like it, moments like it, are the hint at what Alistair admires about Charlie, authentically. And I think that's why I like that you pointed that out, because again, these are the kinds of moments and lines that we put in as like nuggets that feed into later development. And but we don't expect all those ones to be picked up on. Like, I feel like the way we have to kind of treat each season is we sort of have to start at square one. Like, we can't always rely on people knowing intimately every single line and every single moment that happened in a previous season. When people do, it's great, but we do kind of have to sort of start a new track every season to kind of get people up to speed. So obviously season 3 will have leads up to moments like that, but I like that you caught it in season 2, because like moments like that show Alistair, he admires people who can take all this abuse and all this pain and all this rejection and ridicule and all this stuff and still, like, as he says, smile through it. And she's a character who, like, even if she's not smiling, like, she is really, you know, taking it on, and again, like, her spirit, her resolve is not being lost, and he admires that about people like her. So I think it's important because it shows, like, hey, Charlie means something to this guy, even if he doesn't even really know that she means something, you know?
The fact that people are saying that Alistair could be the next big bad, the last villain for the series of the Hazbin Hotel, but I think that we all could agree on that RWBY, the root of all evil, should be the in-game villain, the in-game boss for the Hazbin Hotel series. Because plus, Abashri will make a video on discussion about the lore behind RWBY, the root of all evil herself. So be on the lookout for that one.
Which is great.
I could feel that she means something, but I couldn't quite I can put a finger on what I wanted that line to mean.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 3 more.
Knowing that character, it's not precisely what it is.
I think it was a fair read to read that as not just a dig at Vox, you know, like it was a genuine thing.
It's also an interesting choice to have that line said on Vox's shot.
Yes.
Like, I just found the construction of all of that, like, it contains multitudes.
Thank you.
Now I'm thinking about Life of Chuck all the time. Can't help that. Here's another Alistair question that might have to go in tease territory, but I was wondering, will Emily having risked her life for him carry into season 3 at all?
That's a good one. It carries in the sense that it has impact. I can't specify whether or not it has impact on Alistair. There's a part of me that doesn't think like it's that much of a spoiler to say Alistair doesn't super care about the angels. And I think that her doing that was more of a gesture to overall hell. I think the people in hell saw that moment, and that's probably where it had more impact than on Alistair. I don't know if Alistair super cares.
At the very least, I will take it having an impact on hell.
It definitely did. I think that moment serves as one of the reasons why redemption doesn't seem like a dumb idea anymore. Like, I think the proof, seeing Emily as an angel, especially a high-level angel, actively putting herself in harm's way for a hell person, like, that shows a lot of you know, and it can help with their argument of, hey, we don't want to kill you guys anymore. Maybe there should be unity or peace or something. And that goes a long way, because when you say things like that, it's all well and good, but you have to put your money where your mouth is, and I think she did. So that's, especially with a character like Alistair, who's kind of one of the worst. So it's like everyone was probably like, oh yeah, that guy sucks. That's nice.
And Amir is just eating every single ounce of it up.
He's hamming it.
He is also so damn good live on Broadway. I just like seeing him crush every single song he sung was something else. Here's another question that might have to be filed in tease territory. I have ideas about this, but it means more coming from you. Can Cherry and Pentious ever really be together?
Ooh, yeah, I definitely can't answer that.
Yeah.
But I hope so.
I hope so too. What?
Please. Vivzie, we know you're planning on making it happen, so don't tease us like this. Like, after that, the Piss a Love song, it made me want this ship to actually happen. I mean, I they are building that. The building of that relationship, so to speak. And I think they will get together and when Cherry gets to heaven or something like that.
That ending with him when he gets the card.
Yes, I love. Yeah, so yeah, that's one of the things we reveal is that communication can happen now, which is great.
I will take a step in the right direction in that respect. Oh boy.
Fucking ads.
And to my left is the biggest AI company in the realm. Here's another thing that you might not be able to answer for me, but obviously the season ends with presumably a call from Lilith.
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming that is not a trick.
No, I can say that much. I'll give you guys not having to wait however long it takes us to bring you season 3 to wonder whether or not that was actually her. It was.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yep. You heard it here, folks. That is Lilith. The person on the phone that Charlie called is 100% Lilith. So, the fact that people are still gonna believe, yeah, that's not Lilith, that's Eve or Ro. If people are having this theory that Lilith is Eve and Rosie is Lilith, but that just doesn't make no sense whatsoever. And plus, isn't Eve in hell since she ate the fruit, the forbidden fruit, the fruit of knowledge? So should she be in hell? And we saw how she looked in the beginning of the first episode of season 1. So she has to be in hell for eating the fruit of knowledge, the apple. And some people saying that's not Lilith because there's a plate of apple. Okay, that doesn't explain enough why y'all believe that. And firstly, how would Eve would know about Charlie? How would she know about her? So that is 100% Lilith. It's not Eve, it's not Ro disguised as Lilith. Is 100% Lilith, and Rosie is not the real Lilith. So basically she just debunked all your theories by this confirm that the person on the phone is Lilith.
Is it safe to assume that Lilith will finally have a presence?
And also, I want to say my thoughts and my theories and my prediction to talk about Lilith as a character for season 3, because that's something I really want to talk about her.
That's in the next season.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Now that this season is over and people know that she is not really in this season, yes, season 3 she is there.
Okay.
I promise.
I will take that, and I will also assume that it will be our opportunity to learn more about her original deal with Adam, but also to get a little more clarity on that. When Adam dies, is the arrangement then passed on to Lute? And if so, does Abel now kind of hold the power in that deal?
That's a good question. I mean, it was one of those things where, well, firstly, the way deals work in my universe is you kind of have to see them shake on it. So technically, she was just giving an order. Luke was giving an order.
Gotcha.
So in this season, we see that Sarah kind of spoils that. Sarah's kind of just like, you can't do that. You can't tell her what to do. You can't tell him what to do. You can't do that. So that was, and admittedly, I will admit, the Lilith thing that we teased in season 1 was partially because, like I said, we didn't know what we would get. And again, when I said I took the risk to pivot the story and give that more time, that was what we did. And so we did have to go, all right, we're saving you. But, so that is the one thing, if people notice, like, oh yeah, they really set her up and then didn't do anything. I'm like, yeah, we did. Sorry. She will, but here's the thing, is that the phone calls to Charlie, or Charlie makes phone calls to her every episode. That was something I wanted in season 1. We just had 0 time. It would have felt tacked on, it would have felt weird, it just didn't work. So, this was the culmination of everything that we wanted to do, and it's almost like an extension of season 1. It's like, this is that whole arc, and now we can get into the Lilith stuff. That's how I see it.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Like I said, it's the part of the story I've been dying to tell, so I'm very excited.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, now for my specific season 3 questions. I've got a couple of them. Here's the point where I get to bring back something that I told you I wasn't going to forget.
Yes, okay.
So, on the New York Comic Con panel, we were talking about the definition of each season, and you specifically brought up the idea of each one being a color. I'll start with the color thing. So, season 2 is the blue season. Is it safe to assume that season 1 is maybe the red?
It's red. Yeah, I consider season 1 red, and then season 2 is like blue.
Oh my fucking god! No one fucking cares of these stupid ads.
Season 3?
Oh yeah, here's the thing, the colors I don't take away.
Okay. Wait, tell me all the colors then.
Yeah, I can tell all the colors. So red is 1, blue is 2, 3 is purple and green. So I mean, technically some of them are multiple colors.
I see a lot of people decided to make their own cover. Well, not the cover, like make their own Hazbin Hotel logo with the color that's been confirmed. So basically, season 3 is going to have the color of green and purple, and I've assumed the green is basically evolve Husk and Angel Dust, while the purple is basically going to be evolved Lilith. So, yeah.
Colors, so it's just, but predominantly purple and green are the colors. 4 is yellow or like gold, and then 5, which again not confirmed, but if I get it, would go back to red. So that's the
and yellow or gold. So, people think it's going to be heaven, but like I said, I've seen this video. It's not just going to be just focused on heaven. I think it could be either or. But in my theory, I think that we might get to see more of... Get to see Eden, the perfect world that God created. Like the utopia, the peaceful glory, the golden age of the world. That's basically in theory. So,
implications.
I know you feeling safe telling me that means I can't possibly figure anything out, but the way it feels in my head.
And also, when she said back to red, it could be two things. Alistair be the villain, or Rue the root of evil. And I'm assuming it's going to be Rue the root of all evil, because Vivzie confirmed that we will get to see her in the future seasons. So that is something I am really excited for.
Well, that's the thing, is I think something as broad as that, it's like people can be like, which characters are gold? Wait, gold? Heaven is really gold. I'm like, that doesn't mean it's heaven. You never know. Like, there's so much more in this show that like you might not know. But yeah, it's fun to think about. So again, like, that's why I'm like, go nuts.
I ask it because I am going to have a great time thinking about it for however long. Actually, I'll ask that question now, because I just said for however long, and also you mentioned this at one point during our conversation. Can you give us a sense of the roadmap at all? How far into making season 3 are you, and can people expect a similar wait between season 2 and 3 as we experienced in season 1?
I can't say, just because I know they want to keep where we are, all those things kind of close to the chest. We are definitely well into it, but animation takes a long time, so we're definitely nowhere near release. But I mean, I would say safe time-ish. Again, like safe, similar wait for season 3. I think we need probably the same amount of time. But less of a wait for season 4 because they were greenlit together. We're doing them back to back, which is just going to mean less of a wait. It's obviously it's a monster show, so
yeah, a lot of people are whining, complaining that they don't want to wait another almost 2 years for the next season for Hazbin Hotel. But y'all people need to understand, animation takes a lot of time. But y'all heard her here. Season 3 is going to be the similar thing how they did with season 2. That take time. That take. I mean, for fuck's sake, you saw the animation for Vox where he was singing Vox die or declare music, and the animation of Here Are Hope, and the fight scene with Vox and Alistair in the final episode. So basically it takes time. That's the reason why. They want the animation to look good, they want the good quality over quantity. And the fact that she said season 4 is going to be less wait, so basically like a year than just, or almost a year, something like that. And hell, for fuck's sake, the first season is about to be 2 years old, because it came out like a year ago and almost 2 years.
A lot can happen, but just in general, I just knowing how it's aligned, it will not be as long of a wait for sure. It might still be a wait, but it won't be the equivalent of what it was. Because again, like I think it's close to 2-ish years. That feels right. But again, I don't know. I don't control that. I actually genuinely don't. It just, that feels right to me.
I get that.
Because it's the same undertaking, right? You know?
I will always want more of your show now, but because this speaks to the quality of what you've already done.
It's always worth it.
You're not 22
No one fucking cares about these ads.
Of sketchy dealers, and
it really is pretty incredible, just I guess like how alive and active season 1 was in my life, all the way from release to now the release of season 2.
Which is crazy.
And how satisfied I was just carrying it around. It's a pretty incredible achievement.
Thank you. I think the thing that I appreciate the most about the fandom and about these shows is that, exactly, like, it's been close to 2 years since season 1 came out, and now we're just getting season 2. And it kind of feels like it never died. Like people, I'll even watch like reactors, and they're like, "Oh, we're finally back." Like, but it doesn't feel like they I mean, they know they physically stopped, but we get more and more people discovering the show. There's more and more reactors. I actually, that was something pointed out by one of my crew members. He was like, "There's so many more reactors for this season," and I'm like, "That's so cool!" Like, to me, that's exciting, because I'm glad. And some of these people, I've only recently got into it, and so they did like season 1 first, and then they're doing this, and to me, it's like, I feel like these shows, even if they have long waits, we keep so active in the fandom, and the fandom is so active. And again, these seasons, like, are dense. Like, this isn't like a show where you get a season, you watch it, and you go, okay, cool, I'll watch the next one later. But, like, I feel like the story we're telling it's unfolding. So you're getting almost like new chapters of a book. And to me, I'm like, that feeds people for longer, I feel, because it's like there's so much left unanswered, there's so much for people to speculate, which can be a blessing and a curse, because sometimes when you give people a lot of time to speculate, they're going to come up with something that they think is better than what we're actually doing, and then we have to deal with that. But like, at the same time, I almost don't mind that too, because sometimes it's like, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you were so excited that you came up with your own story, like, that's so cool. So to me, it's like, there's pressure to, like, I hope people like what we're actually doing, but even if they don't, it's like, well, we kept them so entertained that they wanted to see something else, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at. That's why I'm very thankful to this fandom, because, like, we really, like, obviously we stress out about trying to get the shows to people as fast as possible, because we want to. We want more of the story told. We don't want people to get tired and not want to keep watching, but I think, like, the blessing for me is like, I don't feel like that's the case. At least we have not hit that point yet where people are like, eh. Knowing the story in my head, I am optimistic we will never reach that with Hazbin, because unlike other shows that kind of just keep going, I do have an end goal in mind for Hazbin. Every season is very deliberate. So for that reason, I think there's something to wait for every time.
I appreciate.
Yeah. The fact there are some people out there saying that, oh, Hazbin Hotel should have gone this direction or that direction. I'm gonna rewrite all of this to make a lot more sense, make it a lot more better, and do it without the whole music fiasco. Again, that's the whole point of Hazbin Hotel. Hazbin Hotel is a musical monster anime. And again, if you have problems with musical or whatever, then don't bother watching. At least Hazbin Hotel is much fucking better than freaking High School Musical. God, fucking abomination. But so yeah, and the fact that people are willing to share their story and their own fan fiction of, give their theories, etc. It shows that how much people are so invested to the story.
Appreciate that thought and clarity. I'll dig into that thought and clarity just a little more by going back to defining each season, because the other part of that conversation had you call season 1 redemption, season 2 the theme of identity.
Yes.
Can you share the theme of season 3?
I'm actually going to steal this one from a fan because they don't technically know, and so I feel like that makes it more spoiler free.
Okay.
Someone said they think that the next season is probably going to be about family, and I was like, I think that's a safe one, because obviously we know it's going to be about the Morningstars, and they are family, and it's also about Angel and found family, and maybe a bit of his history. And obviously now we know from season 2 that he has extended family. He has a sister who we've seen, and I can't wait for people to meet her, and he has a brother and a dad. And people who know my characters, know my lore, know it's not a secret that I do have demon designs for them. So I think so.
Yeah, and then it makes sense. To be honest, I thought this is basically what I thought in mind. Season 1 is about because I thought season 1 and 2 was basically about I said it before in my review, because I can't remember what I said. Like, season 2 was like proving that redemption is possible, and season 1 is basically season 1 does make sense, so redemption, and season 2 is basically proving that sinners can be redeemed, that redemption is possible. But the whole identity thing was not even there. The only thing was mention of the identity was Vaggie trying to find her own identity and what she wants to call herself, but it's still freaking Vaggie, just without the E, that's kind of a waste, honestly. So, I thought season 1 and 2 is just about find a way, basically, get people to see her point that redemption is possible, proving people that redemption is possible because it happened. So, it kind of makes sense. Season 1, redemption. Season 2 is about identity. Season 3 is about family. And if I had to guess season 4, Okay, you have a redemption, identity, family. Since season 4 color is going to be yellowish gold, I think it will be faith and believe, and 5, since it's going to be red, is going to be like destiny or something like that. I don't know.
Saying that season 3 is about family is a safe one.
I'll take that. I look forward to that. All right, I swear I'm going to let you go soon. Two more questions. This is another follow-up from San Diego Comic-Con, because there you told me that something that happens in Hazbin Hotel season 3 is what got the show greenlit initially. I do not want to spoil what that is, but just so we can zero in on maybe the right thing in season 3, can you tease what that idea was?
I cannot, because it will probably give it away.
I have to respect that. I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, there's some really fun like reveals and twists in season 3, and more than one. So like it's not like, hey, go look for the one. No, there's a lot that happens, and so I had a lot of those in my initial pitch, and I think they were just like, oh, that's fun, and they liked it. So
another one to go up in the follow-up pile
exactly.
for a future interview when I know you'll be back in the studio.
Exactly.
So now we have to.
Alright, that's basically it. Again, if you guys want to watch the rest, like the ending and to here, you know, watch the rest of this part over here and the ending. I'll have the link in the video down below the description box, because I honestly do not know how long this video is. So yeah, again, if you guys want to see the actual video, the link of it will be down below the description box. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts, my opinion of this interview here, and I cannot wait for season 3, season 4, and possibly, hopefully, knowing Amazon Prime, they actually will greenlight it, because how succeed that season 2 is now getting, and season 3 and 4 are going to be even more better, and they're going to get green light for surprising they might get season 6. But even though Vivzie wants to only do 5 seasons, which is kind of odd that Vivzie says that she wants to do 4 seasons for Hell of a Boss and 5 seasons for Hazbin Hotel. So, and hope some of these seasons will have more than just 8 episodes for the Hazbin Hotel. If it's just going to be 8 episodes, then again, all the episodes have to be a bit longer than just 30 some minutes long, because it needs to be more longer than that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to the original video will be down below the description box. You can see the video myself. Links to my other channel, my social medias will be down below the description box as well. Links to my Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi if you guys want to donate to support the channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Kneel before Shadow Critias. I'll see you guys later.